Welcome to Summary Central. You're listening to Summary Central, where big ideas become calm, useful conversations you can slip into your day. This is your 30-minute summary of the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, a simple idea with extraordinary power. It's not a rule book or a relationship checklist. It's a mindset that quietly rewires how you deal with people, conflict, and the chaos of everyday expectations. If you're walking, driving, or just trying to unclench your brain after a long week, this is your half hour of peace. We're going to unpack what let them really means, why it's harder than it sounds, and how it can free you from the mental tug of war of trying to control everyone else's behavior. Take a breath. This one's going to feel uncomfortably honest, but freeing. The control trap. Let's start with a hard truth. Most of us don't realize how much of our life we spend managing other people. We overthink what they think, rewrite our messages 3 times, and plan entire conversations in our heads, all to make sure nobody gets upset. It feels harmless, even helpful. We tell ourselves, I'm just being considerate. But underneath, it's really about control, about trying to steer other people's emotions so we don't have to sit in the discomfort of ours. Mel Robbins calls this the control trap. The illusion that if we can predict or manage what others do, we can prevent rejection, disappointment, or chaos. It's a comforting lie until you realize how heavy it is to carry. Here's what happens. You start living reactively. Your peace becomes dependent on other people's moods. You bend yourself into polite shapes, say yes when you mean no, and call it kindness when it's really anxiety with a smile. And then one day, you notice you're exhausted, not from work or family or errands, but from managing invisible expectations that were never yours to hold. That's where let them comes in. It's not about giving up on people. It's about giving up the fantasy that you can keep everyone happy. Mel says, let them do whatever they're going to do and watch what happens. And what happens, usually, is clarity. When someone shows you who they are, letting them is how you see them clearly. If they cancel last minute, let them. If they don't text back, let them. If they gossip, ignore, criticize, or flake, let them. Because the moment you stop trying to fix or edit someone's behavior, you start to see the truth of the relationship. And that truth, while sometimes painful, is the beginning of peace. The freedom of letting go. Letting people be who they are sounds easy until you try it. The first time you do nothing, it feels wrong. You'll want to explain, argue, defend, or prove your worth. Your brain will yell, do something. But something is exactly what kept you trapped. The text is already entirely in English. True power begins when you realize you don't have to attend every emotional argument you're invited to. You can care deeply about someone and still refuse to chase them through chaos. Imagine holding a rope. On the other end is someone tugging, testing, pulling you into a fight that never ends. We think strength is pulling harder. But real strength is dropping the rope. That's what let them is, a quiet release, a refusal to live in reaction to other people's noise. You don't lose when you let go. You simply stop playing a game you never agreed to. How control steals your peace. When you try to manage other people, you hand them the remote control to your emotions. Think about it. One text can ruin your day. One comment can derail your confidence. One silent friend can make you rewrite every conversation you've had with them. That's not connection. That's emotional outsourcing. And the more you do it, the less power you have. Let them is a way of taking that power back. It's not defiance. It's self-protection. It's choosing to be centered instead of constantly swayed. You don't need to match their tone, defend your decisions, or justify your boundaries. You can simply observe and let them. The magic of this mindset is that it reveals what's real. When you stop performing for approval, the people who truly value you will stay. The ones who don't will fade. And that's not rejection. It's sorting. A simple practice. Here's a small way to start. The next time you catch yourself saying, I can't believe they, stop. Finish the sentence with, let them. I can't believe they didn't invite me. Let them. I can't believe he said that. Let him. I can't believe she never texts back. Let her. Say it out loud. It feels strange at first, then it feels like breathing, because that phrase isn't passive. It's powerful. It's your mind saying, I choose peace over control. You'll notice something unexpected. When you let people be who they are, your own behavior changes too. You stop explaining yourself. You stop chasing closure. You stop trying to teach lessons no one asked to learn. And in that silence, you find something that's been missing all along. Mental quiet. The emotional detox. The hardest part of let them isn't saying it, it's meaning it. We like to think letting go is peaceful, but at first, it's emotional withdrawal. You'll feel the urge to fix, explain, or check in. You'll open your phone, type the text, then delete it. You'll tell yourself it's just kindness, but really it's control in a polite disguise. That's okay. This is where the detox happens. Because underneath every urge to control is fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of being left out, fear of being unimportant. And that's why Mel calls let them not a rule, but a practice. Each time you let someone be who they are, even when it stings, you strengthen your emotional boundaries. You stop bargaining with other people for peace and start creating it yourself. Let them misunderstand you. Let them think what they want. Let them talk behind your back if they must. Because what they think of you is their business. How you respond, that's yours. It's emotional minimalism. You stop decorating your life with drama that doesn't belong to you. Here's a small reflection exercise. When you feel someone pulling away, don't chase. Instead, ask, what does their absence make space for in me? Sometimes what leaves your life is clearing room for what's supposed to stay. Relationships without rescue missions. We all have that one person, the friend, the partner, the family member, who seems to live in permanent crisis mode. Every time you tell yourself, this time, I'll help, I'll fix it, I'll save them. And every time you end up drained, confused, and quietly resentful. Mel calls this the rescue loop. It feels like compassion, but it's actually control in a hero's costume. We step in because their discomfort makes us uncomfortable. We don't like watching people struggle, but struggle is where growth happens. And when you take it away from someone, you also take away their learning. That's what let them really protects, the dignity of consequence. Let them make the bad decision. Let them date the wrong person. Let them ignore good advice. Let them experience what they chose. Because that's the only way they'll ever learn what choosing really means. When you stop rescuing, something beautiful happens. People start showing you who they are without the safety net. Some will rise, some will repeat, but either way, you'll finally see the truth, and the truth is always worth seeing. Here's the rule Mel gives. If you're helping and it drains you, it's not help, it's control. True help empowers. False help exhausts. So if your kindness keeps you tired, you're not being kind, you're being responsible for someone else's homework, let them do it. Let them figure it out. Let them fall and rise on their own timeline. And while they do, focus on your own. Boundaries aren't walls, they're windows. Here's where most people misunderstand. Let them. They think it means shutting people out or becoming cold. It's the opposite. Letting people be who they are gives you clarity, and clarity lets you love them honestly. Think about it this way. Boundaries are not walls that block people out. They're windows that show you who deserves to stay inside. When someone disrespects your time, your effort, or your kindness, let them. Because what they reveal through their behavior teaches you how to move. You can still be kind. You can still care. You're just not negotiating your peace to prove it. That's the heart of this theory. You get to stop auditioning for love. If someone only values you when you're convenient, let them. If someone forgets you until they need something, let them. If someone keeps showing you they're inconsistent, believe them and let them. That's not bitterness. It's alignment. It's your life quietly rearranging itself to make room for people who can meet you where you are. When you let go of managing people, you stop mistaking chaos for connection. You realize that peace is not the absence of people, it's the presence of boundaries. The ripple effect. The most surprising thing about practicing let them is how it changes not just your relationships, but your energy. You'll start noticing that small things, the text that used to ruin your day, the coworker who gets under your skin, the passive-aggressive comment, no longer stick to you. They slide off like water on glass. You'll laugh more. You'll sleep better because you're not replaying conversations in your head anymore. And here's the secret. Other people notice. When you stop chasing, people start respecting your calm. They start realizing that access to your energy is earned, not automatic. That's not arrogance, it's emotional maturity. And it's magnetic. When you stop needing everyone to like you, the right people find you anyway. So if you're wondering, won't people think I don't care? No. They'll think, wow, they're peaceful. And that's a far rarer compliment. The psychology behind letting go. There's a reason letting people be who they are feels so difficult. Your brain is wired for connection, but also for control. Psychologists call this emotional prediction bias. It's the belief that if you can predict what someone might do, you can protect yourself from being hurt. That's why we overthink. It's not just anxiety, it's survival instinct dressed up as preparation. But the truth is, you can't prevent pain by predicting it. You only multiply it by living through it twice, once in your imagination and once in real life. Let them breaks that loop. It teaches your nervous system that peace doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from trusting that you'll be okay even if you don't. Mel often says control is a false comfort. You don't find safety in control, you find it in clarity. And clarity only shows up when you stop trying to manage everyone else's movie and focus on your own scene. Here's what happens biologically when you let go. Your stress hormones drop. Your body stops releasing the constant drip of adrenaline that comes from waiting for people to behave a certain way. Your energy comes back. Your thoughts quiet down. It's not just emotional, it's physical peace. Letting go isn't weakness. It's a nervous system reset. It's teaching your body, I don't need chaos to feel alive anymore. And when that lesson lands, you become unshakable. When letting them doesn't mean losing you, there's a difference between healthy detachment and emotional shutdown. Let them isn't about pretending not to care. It's about caring without collapsing. People often ask, what if letting them hurts? The answer is, it will at first. Growth usually does. But pain is not a sign you're doing it wrong. It's proof that you're healing patterns of over-responsibility. You've probably heard this phrase, you teach people how to treat you. What Mel adds is, you teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. When you respect your peace, others have to rise to meet it, or they naturally drift away. No confrontation, no drama, just energy doing its sorting. If someone keeps testing your boundaries, let them. Because over time, the distance between their chaos and your calm becomes its own teacher. And you'll realize something life-changing. Not everyone is supposed to understand you. Your job isn't to convince people of your worth. It's to live like it's already obvious. This is the difference between detachment and indifference. Indifference says, I don't care. Detachment says, I care, but I'm no longer controlling. Let them in love, work, and family. Let's talk about what this looks like in the real world. In relationships, let them means giving people freedom, not silent punishment, but genuine choice. If they want to leave, let them. If they don't want to change, let them. Love without force reveals what's real faster than any argument ever could. Mel tells the story of a woman who spent years trying to make her partner more affectionate. She read books, sent hints, gave speeches about love languages. Nothing changed. One day, she stopped. She said to herself, let him show me what love looks like for him. Within weeks, everything became clear, not because he changed, but because she finally saw what had always been true. The peace came not from getting what she wanted, but from accepting what was. The text is already entirely in English. Here, it is unchanged. At work, let them protects your sanity. Let people take credit. Let them gossip. Let them act like the office hero, because eventually results speak louder than stories. You don't need to chase validation. You just need to keep doing excellent work. The people who matter will notice. The ones who don't were never your audience. And family, the trickiest terrain of all. We all have relatives who believe their opinions are divine revelation. Let them doesn't mean you stop showing up for family. It means you stop letting every comment pierce your peace. If your aunt still asks when you're getting married, let her. If your brother compares his salary to yours, let him. If your parents don't understand your path, let them. Because peace doesn't require everyone to agree with you. It just requires you to stop needing them to. A truth about control. Mel says something powerful. Every time you try to control someone else, it's because you feel out of control inside yourself. Control is just fear wearing structure. When you let them, you're not freeing them. You're freeing yourself from the illusion that your happiness depends on their choices. Here's the twist. Once you stop trying to control others, people often start showing up better. They feel safer, seen, less defensive, because control is tension. And when you remove it, connection can finally breathe. That's the paradox of let them. When you let people go, they often come closer, but this time, freely. Real life moments of letting them. Let's make this real. Because let them isn't just an idea, it's a muscle. And like any muscle, you build it by using it in small, everyday moments. Think about the friend who always cancels at the last minute. You send the text, make the plan, buy the snacks, and then comes the, sorry, can't make it. In the past, you'd spiral, did I do something wrong? Are they mad at me? Now, you just breathe. You say, let them. And you go anyway, or you stay home and enjoy the quiet. Either way, you don't let someone else's inconsistency rob you of joy. Or maybe it's at work. You present an idea in a meeting and someone repeats it louder, taking the credit. Before, you'd stew for hours, planning the perfect comeback in your head. Now, you let them. You keep your focus on the bigger picture because recognition built on truth always lasts longer than borrowed applause. And in love, maybe you're tired of chasing reassurance, tired of waiting for someone to see what you bring to the table. You stop auditioning. You stop chasing. You let them decide what they want. And in doing that, you decide what you deserve. Let them doesn't mean silence. It means self-respect. It's the art of releasing what's not yours to carry and letting people show you what role they're meant to play. How to practice let them daily. So, how do you actually build this mindset in real life? Mel breaks it down into 3 small practices, each one deceptively simple but life-changing when done consistently. Step 1. Pause before reacting. When someone disappoints or frustrates you, your instinct will be to fix it immediately. Don't. Give it space. You can't see clearly when you're reacting emotionally. Sometimes the best wisdom comes after the silence. Step 2. Replace rumination with reality. Every time your mind starts looping on what someone said or did, ask yourself, what are the facts here? Most of the time, you'll realize the story you're telling yourself is louder than the truth. Let them and let the story go, too. Step 3, redirect your energy inward. Every ounce of attention you spend trying to change someone else is energy you could be using to evolve yourself. Mel calls this the return to self. Because let them isn't really about them, it's about you. The more you practice, the quicker it becomes second nature. You'll notice it most in quiet moments, the ones that used to be filled with overthinking. Now they're filled with calm. What letting them reveals about you. Here's the part people don't expect. The more you let people be who they are, the more you start to see who you are. Because let them isn't just a boundary, it's a mirror. It shows you what you value, what you tolerate, and where you've been giving your peace away for free. It makes you ask bigger questions. Why do I need everyone to like me? Why do I feel guilty for being calm when others are chaotic? Why do I confuse attention with love? The answers aren't always easy, but they're always freeing. You start to realize that peace was never out there. It was waiting under all the noise, buried beneath years of managing, rescuing, explaining, and apologizing. And when you stop doing that, when you finally let them, peace rises to the surface like something that was yours all along. The beauty of emotional neutrality. One of the quietest powers in the world is emotional neutrality. Not indifference, not apathy, just calm. When you master let them, you stop reacting to every high and low. You don't need to match other people's moods to show empathy. You don't need to chase closure to find peace. You just let life show up and you meet it with steadiness. It's not glamorous. No one throws a parade for emotional neutrality, but it's what makes people feel safe around you and what makes you safe inside yourself. Mel says, peace doesn't mean life stops being chaotic. It means you stop being chaotic with it. That's what let them teaches. How to stay grounded when everything else is spinning. Reflection. So think about your own life. Who or what have you been trying to control? Whose approval still decides how peaceful your day feels? And what would happen if you just let them? Maybe the friendship would fade. Maybe the silence would stay. But maybe, just maybe, you'd feel lighter. Let them is a small phrase with massive power. It's the bridge between frustration and freedom. The permission slip to stop managing everyone else's emotions and start protecting your own. And once you feel that peace, even for a moment, you'll never want to give it back. Closing thoughts. If this idea resonates with you, let it. Let it sit in your mind the next time someone disappoints you. Let it echo quietly when you're tempted to fix or chase or explain. Because let them isn't a lesson you master once. It's one you live over and over until peace becomes your default. Thank you for listening to Summary Central. If this conversation helped you breathe a little easier, follow the channel, share it with someone who needs it, and take a moment to protect your peace today. Because the truth is simple. You can't control them, but you can always choose how you show up. So let them and let yourself be free.